doesn't matter if the cats have been over here or not. Their hair is over here. Well, she's over here, but she's not on the table. But her hair is apparently on the table. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Another one as big as my head. Today's coffee cup says hot cocoa and chill. My daughter found this for me the last time we went grocery shopping at Kroger. As you can see, it's a very big mug, and no Netflix and chill in this house, and there's no hot cocoa in here, but it is a cute mug. I love the writing. I love the little, they've got marshmallows and snowflakes and all the little kind of like sprinkles around it. I really appreciate it. You guys know me. I love the mugs. I love the mugs. Thank you for giving me the mugs. Anyway, today's tea is not hot cocoa, but it is chocolate related, and it is the last of my Tetley chai dark chocolate tea. I do not think this is available anymore. I think the last time I looked for it, it was not on sale anywhere. You could get a regular chocolate or a different kind of chocolate, but you couldn't get this dark chocolate one, unfortunately. I will check again. If it is available somewhere, there will be a link for it down below. I have mixed it with the PUKKA Mint Matcha Green. Each of these only had one. This one obviously had circular sachets. This is your normal tea bag. Do not know how well they're going to stand up to this really big mug. I mean, seriously, big as my head. But we're going to give her a try. She's not been steeping very long, just a few minutes. We'll give it a sip, get started, see if the flavors at least work together, if nothing else. But, you know, as usual, we'll have to see if it strengthens up towards the end of our video. Smells good. Oh, okay, so I am getting both. They do taste a little diluted. However, that's either the size or the length of time. But the flavors currently are mixing very, very well. Can't wait to see what that's like towards the end of our video. But before we get into what we're really here for today, I have a box. I have a box that I should have opened at the end of November. Unfortunately, it's one of the subscriptions that is so small all by itself, that I don't open it by itself. I usually open it with something else, and unfortunately I had nothing else come in, so we're going to try to get this done at the beginning of this video, because this is for November and welcome to December. So this is my JennyBelle subscription. My earrings, you'll notice I'm not wearing any. I'm prepared. I am prepared to wear the new JennyBelles. This is a $15 subscription. Comes out a little bit more than that when you add in the shipping, but honestly, it's been worth every single penny. I have loved all the earrings that I've gotten from her. They're so neat. They're customized. They're beautiful. Her little cards are beautiful. Honestly, if you want a decent earring subscription, I know that there's Earfleek. I was on Earfleek for a while. My issue with Earfleek is that the earrings were all very small. They felt cheaply made. They're good for the price. I mean, it's a $2 or $3, $4, something like that subscription. But anyway, all right, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. She packed it all in bubble wrap. Thank you, Jenny. And of course, we have our usual card that tells you, that allows you to respond back and tell her what, if you liked it, if you want to change anything. This is basically for you to update your preferences at any time. So we've got that. And then here is the information on the actual subscription. Crate of JennyBelle Original Designs Earrings of the Month. Thank you so much for your subscription. She offers 100% satisfaction guaranteed. You can contact her for feedback. Contains small parts, not for children. And the prices of the earrings are valued at $21.95 and up. All of that. And we got our little card. Hi, Domi. I hope you enjoyed these beautiful design custom created just for you. Let me know at any time how I can serve you better. Always off 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Also, feel free to text or email, and then she has all of that. Thank you, Jenny. And she put one of her little coffee cups on there. So she does her own custom stationery too, so you can do either the earrings or the stationery. So here are our earrings. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Oh, these are beautiful. These are beautiful. These are beautiful. Here's a gorgeous pair of antique silver sparkling deep red beads and rhinestone star charm chandelier earrings. They are so pretty with tiny Swarovski clear bicon crystals and detailed star bead caps. They are complete with fine, beautiful decorative ear wires. $29.95. She just does a beautiful job. I'm telling you guys, if you are not subscribed to her yet and you want an earring subscription, subscribe. She will do, I think I challenged her with the chandeliers, and I'm very grateful that she went ahead and took up the challenge. And but she will do posts, she will do wires, she will do, yes, she does all kinds of things. I may see if I can get her to do something with some kind of hoop or something soon. We'll have to see. Of course, she watches these unboxings and she might go, ooh, so let's give that a try. Just from watching the video. Come on, open, 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 says me. Everything is stapled together. Oh my God, these are gorgeous. These are gorgeous. Oh my Lord, and they're so long. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, look at this, look at this. That is gorgeous. Etching on there. We've got snowflakes and crystals on the bottom. That's gorgeous. I'm glad I chose not to put on earrings today. I was actually originally going to wear another one of my JennyBelle earrings. And that squished nice. Oh my goodness, look at these. I'm in love. I'm in love. These are beautiful. Oh, I love them. I love them. I love them, Jenny. I love them. Yeah, if I can find this earring hole. There we go. Always on this side. I'm not sure why. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. And with the green sweater, it's a lot like Christmas. Thank you so much, Jenny. And I hope that my dragynettes are considering subscribing if they haven't already. It's beautiful. She gives you a little note. She usually also sends along a little extra piece, but you know what? With the size of these earrings, I'm not complaining. This is beautiful. This is gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think I'm going to wear these for Christmas dinner. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. Alrighty, so let's get on to what we are supposed to be doing today. These are going to keep getting stuck in my hands. I don't mind. They're just so beautiful. Oh. Anyway, I'm really, really happy. I'm sure you all can tell I'm really, really happy. Anyway, so we are doing our 1 month palette for the month of December. Hello, December. Where did the time go? I mean, seriously, where did the time go? This year just like disappeared. Not that I mind, considering a lot of things going on in the US right now. So, but at the same time, it's like, where did it go? Anyway, so November's palette, as you all know, was the Nomad Berlin Underground Intense Eyeshadow Palette. This was something that came in my Ipsy Plus box a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed it, and I went ahead and kept it. I honestly never expected to have one of the palettes that I got in one of my boxes to be one of our 1 month palettes, particularly so soon after receiving it. But honestly, the last couple of images have been very hard for me to find palettes for, which is kind of strange considering how many I have. I mean, I do declutter quite a bit. I've just decluttered at least 1 or 2 more recently. Probably going to go through and declutter some more later. It's very odd to me that the palettes I have I've just struggled. I've struggled to find appropriate palettes to go with the images I pick. And I do try to pick the images first because I want the images to inspire me for the palettes. Anyway, so this is the palette that worked the best, I thought. It is kind of a murkier palette. As you can see, some of the shades are well used. Others I've dipped into but not really tried all that much. This palette is still available. It is $37 on the website. You can find it at Poshmark and other places for quite a bit less. I do think it is worth the $37. However, we're just going to go with that. It is actually at a very good price point, I think, for the palette. You come up with 15 shades. They are mostly, as you can see, they are mostly on the murkier side. That's Psylocke. She's being a pill today. Psylocke, settle down. Okay, I think she's finally settled down. As you can see, most of the colors are on the murkier side, though we do have a number of colors that work for under the brow and are lighter, and we do have a couple of pops, the green and the this reddish tone. This purplish tone actually comes off a bit brownish, at least on my skin. However, again, you have some other color that aren't neutral, and all of these colors work very well together. I do like the color story. Most of these are shimmers. There's one matte, one matte-ish. The rest of them are pretty much on the shimmery side, and we've got one that's more of a topper, though I did use it under my brow today. Unusually, I think that while I like the color story and everything really goes together, I think I would have pulled out at least one of these grays and possibly one of these browns and put in another matte or two, or turn these into mattes. Granted, if this were a matte, I wouldn't use it, but if this were a matte, I might use it. But I have used these as they are. The only colors I don't think I've really used are this one, which is our matte. Says the girl saying it needs more mattes. This one is an interesting one in that it is not really a shimmer and it's not really a matte, but it doesn't also strike me as being a satin. There's just not enough sheen in it. However, it's also not matte. It's got a sparkly, I want to say undertone to it, but it's not really an undertone. It does have a bit of a sparkle to it. Same for the black, although the black has a bit more sparkle than the red. And overall, I think the color story really works. I'm glad there's some color. I'm glad there's some lighter shades to be able to use for highlighting, going under the brow and other things like that. So they didn't come up with a completely dark color story. It's just even the lighter shades fit into that color story. Quality is pretty good. I've had trouble reaching for it, mostly because it is a murkier palette. And as much as I keep saying that I want murkier colors, because I've not worked with murkier colors that much, I'm finding it difficult to pick shades and figure out how to use it. So I did struggle to reach for it this month, but it makes a beautiful supplemental palette for other things. These golds really are, they're on my lid now. They're very nice and bright and shiny, so they're beautiful. The one thing is, you all know I have problems with the inner corners of my eyes, so when I show you this look later, some of that may be gone if I don't touch it up before then. They don't stand up well to my eyes. They do repair. It takes a little bit of work, but they're better than a lot of things that I've tried to repair in the past. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're shimmer tones. I suspect if I were to put this in the inner corner and it was to fade off, it would be much harder to repair. However, they do repair, but the repair does not stay. So this is not the level of a Violet Voss, which you can probably tell by the price point since it's $37. And the Violet Vosses are between $45 and $50 usually. I think there's, yeah, between $45 and $50 for the most part. So Violet Voss still beats this out just because it stands up to my eyes and it repairs well. And when it repairs, it tends to stay. However, I don't necessarily blame eyeshadow palettes that can't stand up to my eyes. I don't necessarily blame that on the formula or on the palettes themselves. My eyes are an issue. I do have that spot that evaporates. It's very hard to keep shadow there. And most of the palettes that I use and try have that issue. So that's a common issue with me, and it's unusual for me to have palettes that are at the level of Violet Voss that can stand up to that inner corner issue. So, alrighty, so let's start with swatching it. I'm not going to list the names at this point. They're all in German. There's a few of them that I can pronounce, like this first one is Kreuzberg, and then we've got SO36, but then there are others that I know it's supposed to be German, but I am tempted to pronounce them in Spanish. So I'm just going to do it by rows. We're going to do our first row, our first 5 shades. They are, as you can see, very, very shimmery. And that music is not supposed to be that loud, but okay, we're going to go with it. So that's the first row. As you can see, they're very shimmery. You can see that I have a couple in there that I would have issues with. Again, but for those, it's more the shade than the palette's fault, because you can see them on my skin, but they're like, it's like blending in a little bit. They do come up though. So our second row includes our green and our red and our purple and all the beautiful golds. I have been using the golds to death, I will tell you that. All right. So this is the second row. And it's getting loud again. This row gets the most use for me, and you can see what I mean about that purple going kind of brownish on my skin. It is a purple, but it is a brownish purple, and it shows up that way on my skin. But you can see that why this row would be my favorite row. These colors show up well. The golds are beautiful on the eye, and they all blend very, very nicely. So our final row, which includes our matte. A beautiful black. A lot of blacks end up looking more like the bottom of the swatch than the top, but this black is actually really, really nice. It does have that sheen to it. Even the matte has a bit of a sheen to it, but it's not like the others. It's still more of a matte, but you can kind of see that there's a tiny bit there. It might just be reflecting what's around it. Again, these colors show up very, very well. They're very, very beautiful. The whole palette is actually really, really nice. It's a beautiful palette. It does stay, other than my inner corner. The color story is beautiful. They're blendable. They do have some fallout, but it's not horrible. Couple of the shades you do get some kickback on in the pan. Again, it's not horrible. The nice thing is yes, you will get a little bit of glitter on your face, but you won't get glitter all over your face using these shades. And it's primarily the lighter colors, this topper shade, the golds, that'll give you that fallout. Using a wet wipe, could have gone in the other direction. That black just took, but you can see they are sticking to it even though I'm using a wet wipe. That black does not want to come off. So overall, as you can see, the palette is really good. It does stick with you. Like I said, other than my eye issues, takes a little bit of work to get it off. I actually really like the palette. It does tend towards more of the neutrals, but because it's shimmery neutrals, it's neutrals that I can use, because even if the color blends into my skin tone a little bit, that shimmer helps bring it out, and I can use it under the brow, or I can use it to kind of create a little bit of a highlight pop. As a single palette, it's a little harder to work with. I did manage it with our image today, and I have managed it once before, but I think primarily the images I'm going to show you that of the looks that I did with this past month, this is mostly in with other palettes. So speaking of all of that, let's get into our looks very quickly. So this first look is one of the first looks that I did with it after it became the 1 month palette. So this is pretty much based on the same image. You'll notice that it is a very neutral look. The golds and things just didn't quite pop. I hadn't quite figured out how to work with the colors and how to make them just stand out a bit more. And I did tend towards like I tried to put the reddish part on the lid, and I used a bit browns and the greens. However, this is not a look that I would repeat just because it is so neutral, and you all know me. I like color. I really like color. Anyway, here is that look. Now, this second look, I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it very well. However, I did this with the Dose of Colors palette that I got from, well, that I purchased to replace the one that I got from BoxyCharm. So there's a more deeper blues, and I used a bit more of the pink, but some of this palette is in there under the brow and on the lid, and here is that look. This third look, we've got 4 today. This third look is a much brighter color story, and that's because I mixed it with the Zulu palette that from Juvia's Place that I have, that I truly enjoyed. So I threw in some, the Juvia's Place has a green, it has some blues, it has some purples. So for this particular look, the Berlin palette was literally a support palette. I think I used some of it under my eyes. I probably dusted a bit across the lid to give it a bit of shine. But in general, it was, and I used the green out of here as well. But in general, it is a support palette in this look. It is not the primary palette for this look. In the last 2 looks, the first look, it was the only palette used. In the one with Dose of Colors, the Dose of Colors was the support palette. So here it is being a support palette for the Zulu. So with this next look, I used another palette that we had gotten last month, and that was the Voss Essentials palette to help give some more brightness. Again, I used some of the purple, I used some brighter pink, but I think this was a 50-50 look. So the gold and the lighter color under the brow came from the Nomad palette, while the pinks and the purples came from the Essentials palette. This is actually one of my favorite looks with this palette, as a mix of the 2 of them supporting each other. There was no one primary, so they were both being used in a equal manner, so neither one could really be considered the support palette. They both supported each other in an equal mix, and I really did like this look. I actually really like this photo, but here is that look. So what was our image to inspire me to use this palette? Well, I actually picked this image out thinking it would be a really great fall inspiration. The green kind of messed up being able to pick out a couple of other palettes I had, because there is a green in this image. In fact, there's a couple of greens, and I'm always having trouble matching hair because most of them require a black, so I could throw in a Violet Voss palette, but you're trying to find something that has similar colors all through the palette in one palette, and that was kind of difficult. However, I do think this palette matched this particular image, even though the image ended up not matching November very well. we didn't have a fall in Georgia. I honestly have no idea what's going on with the Georgia weather. So we went into, I mean, seriously, we went into the fall season and we had a week of fall and then it went cold. And it was cold for about 2 weeks and then it warmed up and now it's getting cold again. I don't think Georgia can make up its mind. Anyway, so this was supposed to be kind of a transition into fall. We're heading into winter, but a transition into fall or fall type palette look. And we ended up not really having much fall. But the name of the image is Fluttering Friends. And here is that image. As usual, all of our images are from Amy Brown, and our next month's image will be the same. Anyway, so if you are interested in knowing how to do this look, and we will take off the glasses and hope that our eyes are not a mess. If you're interested in seeing how to do this look that is based on that image, how do you think we did? Does it look like it's based on that image? I hope it does. At any rate, if you're interested in seeing this image yet again, Here is how I created that look, coming right now. Alrighty, so we are going to start with this color, Kreuzberg. Whoop, let's not blind you. Kreuzberg under the brow. This has a slight greenish cast. It's not very dark. It's just, but that's okay. We don't want it to be very dark. We're going to have a few dark colors later. All right, so now since our girl has wings that are kind of on the yellowish end, going into that nice orange, we're going to start with this color Helden, and then we're going to go into Poor But Sexy on the lid. And then I'm probably going to take this color Tiki. I want to pronounce it in a Spanish way. It's not Spanish. It's supposed to be German. It's Berlin Underground, not Madrid Underground. Tequilis. I'm not even sure. But this one right here, we're going to take that one and do our crease and outside part. But let's start with our golds. To mimic these wings, I'm going to use our very firm Royal & Langnickel large concealer brush. Starting with Helden. The colors are really nice. There's a number of them that I haven't been using, but that's okay, I think. I'll get to them eventually. I mean, I've touched on them. I've played around with them a little bit. I just haven't used all the colors in a consistent way. I much prefer this gold, the green, the red. The purple tends towards brown, but I do like it. I'm having to pack a little bit, which is unusual, but I think that's the way I prepped my eyes. More than the shadows, because usually I don't have that much trouble. Okay, so we've got about halfway, just under halfway with that color. We're going to take that same brush and we're going to get the Poor But Sexy, which is the darker gold, and put it on the outside of our lids. My doing that. Yeah. I really do love the metallics in here, as you can probably tell since they're the most used. Now this color is darker, but it goes in so nicely with the lighter color that there's not really that big of a demarcation of the line, but you can still tell it's a little darker. I'm actually going to take this darker Deutsch Punk in the corner, and I'm just going to put it on the outside very outside corner of this look on the lid. Just a little bit. Again, we're adding a little bit of depth. Not much that you can probably see on my poor camera. And I'm going up in the crease a little bit, but that's not really going to matter. We're just kind of like adding shadows is what it is. It's like if you were drawing or doing art, you want to add that dimension. So that's what this is for, to add a little dimension on our lid. Okay, now that we have a little subtle dimension on the lid, we are going to grab my crease brush, my e.l.f. one that I like to use. And we're going to take some of that one color, Tetley, I don't know. Just the red. We're going to take the red. We're going to go ahead and go in our crease and do my little point. This is another color that I've used quite a bit of. It's more of a brown orangey red. It's not really a red. But as you can see, it has quite a bit of pigment. There we go. Gonna have to clean that up. I think I'm going to put the green that we see on the photo on the bottom when we're done with this. So I'm going to take a smudger, nice pointy smudger, and I'm going to use this color East Side Gallery, this little gray down here, and I'm going to deepen my crease. Just a little bit. She's not deepening up that much though. There it is. Took her a little minute. Come out. Put a little bit on the bottom. Just a little bit. Come out. We're going to deepen that a little bit more with some of the black in a minute. So taking the same brush, we're going to use this ColourPop, and we're just going to do the very little bit of the corner. We're not going to go very far up or out. Again, it's just a matter of deepening up that area, giving it a little bit of depth. That's it. We're being a little fancy. There we go. Using this mini flat smudger, NDW here, I'm going to do underneath my eye. All the way across into that gray, which deepens up the green a little bit. And then I'm going to take that color that we put underneath our brow. I'm going to use the same brush, so that Kreuzberg, I don't speak German. I'm going to put that on the very inner corner over the green on that lower lash line, just a little bit. The color itself won't really show up, but it will lighten up that green just a little bit and give it a bit of an extra sheen right in that corner. Which is all I'm looking for. Very quickly, I am going to grab, this says it's for the crease. I'm just going to basically smooth everything out and blend it a little bit. That's it. Don't want to overdo it. Just trying to blend it all in. And other than cleaning up the small amount, you can see it, there is a fallout here. Just brush that all off. And even though we have glittery shades, we don't have glitter all over our face, so that's good. I love glitter. I love the sparkly shadows, but I don't like having glitter over my face. Anyway, so that's it for the eye look, and we will be back and to finish up. So here is our completed look. Let's take off the glasses. I did have to touch this up just before coming in to show you. As usual, in the inner corners, I'm losing some of my shadow, but there is the completed look. Hopefully you can see the minor changes in gradient, the shadows that give it a little bit of depth, all that stuff. Hopefully you think that it matches our image. Ignore what's going on underneath this eye. This eye has been being a real pill today. But that is our look. I actually really like this. I really like the way it came out. My one disappointment is that I cannot get anything to stay. So if I were to try to repeat this, I would have to repeat it with a different palette, one that had more staying power. Unfortunately, none of my Violet Vosses have the same color story as this one. So it'd be a little tough. So that being said, as much as I like this look and wouldn't mind repeating it, this is not a palette I would travel with, and it has nothing to do with the size. I actually use a big backpack type thing for my purse, so palettes this size are not an issue. It has a decent closure, not wonderful, so I would probably end up putting it in some kind of case or something to help keep it closed, but it has a fairly decent closure. I think it could travel fairly well. It just because of the issues in having to constantly fix the inner corners, at the very least, this would not be a very good travel palette for me. It would probably work for other people who do not have a problem using larger palettes. Obviously, if you want a travel palette or something to toss in your purse and your purse is small, this would not work for you. So overall, I do like this palette. I don't foresee me reaching for it a lot, unfortunately, even though I like it. The color story, like I said, I want the murky colors. I've got all my brights. I'm kind of leaning towards getting those murkier colors. I'm just not used to using them, so I have to figure them out. And that would be a process. Plus the fact that this does not have, at least on the inner corners, it does not have the staying power of some of my other palettes. This would end up being more than likely a support palette for most palettes. So honestly, I could get a gold from the Violet Voss and that would work, and then use the rest of this to finish out this look like I did here today. To finish today's look. I did not use Violet Voss today, honest. But other than that, I think it's a really nice palette. I think it's worth the price point. As you saw, the colors stay. I had to really clean my hand, so they're not likely to fade on people who do not have my problems. I mean, it's possible, but they probably won't. So I think the price point is pretty good for the palette. I do like the palette. It's just going to end up being more of a support palette for me as I try to learn how to work with the murkier colors. But yeah, I do, and it's available if you're interested in it. If you did not get it with your Glam Bag Plus, assuming you're subscribed, it is a palette I think that's worth it. It's worth its price point, like I said. So really, if you're looking for colors that are shimmer and you can see my eyes through my glasses, which is also a big challenge for most palettes for me, which is one of the reasons why I do like the shimmers. Mattes just do not show up as well beneath my glasses, which are very thick in terms of the lens thickness. So they tend to make my eyes smaller. Anything that can make my eyes show up, I'm happy with. So again, a palette that's really, really worth it. So for next month's palette, I had to cheat. I went to Amy's site and I opened up her Christmas stuff, and everything has reds and greens and silvers. There was, I mean, if you look at the fairies, a couple of them have more of a peachy toned skin, but it was the red, green, and silvery blue that kept throwing me off. Most of my palettes, if they have greens, don't have reds. If they have reds, they don't have greens. If they manage to have both, they don't have the silvery blue. And they were all very bright. And if you look at her art, it's not very bright, unfortunately. So I did finally pick the image. And then I had to, when I picked my image, I really struggled to find a palette, so I had to cheat. And then I introduced the palette to people on my Facebook. I ended up having to cheat again after using it. All right, so what am I talking about? I am using a ColourPop custom buyout palette. I actually made this for Christmas last year, and I initially had trying to remember what was in there. I initially had a different color of red. However, and I had a matte green. This is more of a shimmer green. However, when I tried these colors out, those two colors didn't work for what I needed, and I really needed something like on a medium green. This light green is beautiful on the eyes. However, it just I needed something darker. So I ended up pulling out 2 shades and replacing it with 2 shades. This replaces the matte green that I had, and this one is my medium green that I needed. And I still have my blues, and I still have a single red. Unfortunately, and I took a look around because I really wanted a better red than this, but unfortunately ColourPop didn't have it. I will have these colors listed down below. I will tell you that neither the bronzer nor the highlighter are available anymore. And give me a minute. This middle one, Tiny Tangerines, is not available anymore. There was one more. And neither one of these greens. So Superzoom, this is Tiny Tangerines, this is Superzoom. Neither one of these are available on the site anymore. I am sure you can find colors to match because it is a custom palette. Anyway, I will list all the colors below, and so that you can go ahead and start creating your own Christmas palette if you want to play with this month until we get back. You all know I like ColourPop, so honestly, this is really going to be easy to do. So we're just going to count December as a freebie. Like I said, it was just a matter of not being able to find a single palette that had everything that I needed, that came close to the image colors. It was a mess. It was a real mess. And I really like the image, and you're going to see that too. So it's really a cute image. But anyway, so that's our palette. It's a custom palette. I will, like I said, list all the colors down below so that if you want to find them and then look for hopefully a couple to replace the ones that are not available, I'll list them whether or not they're available. Then you can do that if you want. I did pick this up, like I said, because last year's Christmas palettes were neutrals with a blue, neutrals with a green. They weren't Christmassy to me, so I made my own. Anyway, so that is it for the day, and I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen, and you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. We do a lot of hoping around here. If you do subscribe, please hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Currently upload 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. However, every month we do have bonus videos. And speaking of that, since you all know that my son does his My Geek box, my ex did get in touch with My Geek box. He showed them the video of my son opening the box, realized that he hadn't got his Funko. They are going to send him his Funko. I do not know if his Funko is coming separate or if it's going to be coming in the next box, but they are going to replace it. So for anybody who's concerned, My Geek box has done a very good job of responding and taking care of their customers, which is really, really a big difference from Loot Crate. I'll tell you that right now. My experiences with Loot Crate weren't that good. And towards the end, the kiddo's dad's experiences with Loot Crate weren't that good either. So, but they were declaring bankruptcy back then. So we do have My Geek box that does seem to come in about a month late. So, or towards the end of the month, because I think they ship around the 15th, but because it's coming from the UK, it takes a little time to get here. We also do indie brands, although those will be waiting until well after the new year, just to get through Christmas. And I also do subscriber mail upon occasion when I get it. So if you're interested in any of those, you will need to have that bell rung so that you know when they go up, as they do not go up on normal days. If you're part of my notification squad, you may want to check with both your subscription and your bell to make sure that they are still active. You probably don't need to worry about it, but it doesn't hurt to check. And if you choose not to subscribe, well, I'd understand. There are a lot of YouTubers out there who are not as rambly and who are not old dragons. So I get it. However, you're always welcome to come back again here, and we do hope that you come back again here. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. It does not need to be as big as your head, I swear. Alrighty, so let's give this a taste and we will get on out of here. It's cooled down a little bit. I was thinking it might not cool down nearly as much as I would have thought it would, but we are going to go ahead and give her a taste. Okay, so the flavors are stronger. It's an interesting mix. I'm not sure I like it. I do get the chocolate more than anything, and because it's a dark chocolate, it has a bit of that bitterness towards the end of the sip. I am not getting much of the mint. I do think I'm getting the matcha, which is really an interesting twist on the flavor. But I don't think I'm getting much of that mint in there, unfortunately. Probably needed 2 packages, and I only had 1 left, because this is the last of this one, too. I don't have any more of this flavor. At any rate, it's a good tea. I don't think I would do that mix again, even if I could find the dark chocolate chai over. I do like the PUKKA teas. I would probably pick up another one of these. So that's it. I hope you all have a great day.